Alright, let's try this again with sound. Yeah, sound's on this time. If you're watching, then I apologize. Sound was off. Let's start all over again. Kind of things that happens when you do things live, right? I've had a hard time setting up today. Alright, so today I want to do multitasking. I want to go ahead and do the AC on this vehicle, and I want to do the rear brakes. Now, the reason why I'm multitasking is because it takes a long time to do the AC the right way. If I could shoot a can in here, which would probably take about 10 minutes to shoot a can or two in here, but I have no idea what the system is like. The system could have a giant hole in it somewhere in the system, and if I shoot a can in here, it's going to go right out into the atmosphere, which is not good. Now, while it's legal for the average user to do that, as a professional auto mechanic, I cannot get away with that. What I have to do is I have to do it professionally, even from on my own. So, as a licensed AC repair, I have to do this the right way, which means I have to check the system first, make sure there's no leak, and then I'm okay to shoot some Freon in there, some refrigerant in there. The cans you can buy from, just about any store nowadays, but you got to be careful what you buy. If you buy cans that have sealant in it or some oils, depending on what vehicle you're working on, you could run into trouble. Those sealants, may close the leak that you have. When somebody comes along with a piece of equipment and recycles it into the machine, that sealant can gum up their machine and cause thousands of dollars worth of damage. The oils that are there are for specific vehicles. There's specific weights for specific vehicles. Hybrids are the biggest. If you try shooting a can with oil, go hybrid, you may end up causing an expensive repair on your vehicle when the compressor basically just destroys itself from the oils. So you have to be really careful about what you're doing and what you're buying. Those signs are great. You charge your own AC, do your own AC, and it will work. And it will work okay. It's not going to work great because when you shoot a can into here, what you'll end up doing is you'll end up with a hose of whatever length that's got air in it. So you're shooting the refrigerant and air into it. The air is an insulator and doesn't do well for transferring heat. So on those very hot days, it's not going to work as well as it should. Maybe on a cool day like today, if I turn the AC on, even with just the slightest charge, it will seem to work. And this may have refrigerant in it. I don't know. On a day like this, it does feel cool, but it could be just drawing in vent air through and just feel cool. I don't know if it has any gas in it or not. It is missing the cap, and that's not a good thing. When the cap, my head cam here, when the cap is missing, that's not really a good thing because all this dirt is now on and around the area. So if I hook my gauges into it, two things are going to happen. Dirt's going to get inside the system, and dirt's going to get inside my gauges. So hopefully I have a replacement cap. I have a couple of replacement caps. I bought a kit, and I took the caps off the Grand Prix because I don't need those anymore. I recycled the refrigerant out of the Grand Prix the other day, playing with some of the equipment that I have. You can see on the ground there's some refrigerant equipment there. I have my gauges. I have a vacuum pump. I have a portable reclaimer. Picked that up off eBay for about $300. And then I have a tank that I have for my machine that I have in the basement that I really didn't want to struggle to bring upstairs to do this car and then bring it back downstairs. I've always wanted one of the portable reclaimers. I bought it used off eBay for about $300. And it works pretty well. I was using it on the Grand Prix to recycle what I had in there out of it. And that tank's got plenty of refrigerant in it also. The only thing I forgot to bring up in the basement is the scale. I have to go get that when it's time to recharge it. But what I need to do first is I need to diagnose it. So what we need to do next is to clean off this fitting, get all this dirt out of here and off of here, and get it ready so I can safely hook up my gauge. So let's move the camera in and do that first. We're also going to go ahead and do rear brakes in this vehicle. I didn't mention that already. I'm going to do rear drum brakes. Now, to do this correctly, it's going to take time to do the AC correctly. So I thought I'd show you how multitasking works for an auto mechanic and how flat rate technicians make money. Flat rate technicians do their work. Let's go ahead and start moving around. Flat rate technicians do their work and make their money based on production. How much actual time they produce versus how much time they take doing the job. So when a flat rate mechanic can multitask or do more than one job at a time, they can make more money, obviously. So this is a prime example of how a flat rate technician can make a lot of money by doing multiple jobs at once. If I had an AC job and a brake job, I could do both at the same time. You don't do one and then the other. To clean this off, and go ahead wipe off the outside, and then blow out the inside, like that. Okay? Pretty clean. Now let's go ahead and hook up our gauges. Hose there because I'm going to need it when I take the rear wheels off. So here I have a gauge set. Had this for a very long time. Mid-90s. Gauge set hangs up on the hood. You can see it. You have a middle hose which will go to other equipment if needed. Clean these out too. Yeah, pull these out too. Hose. Lighting's coming off. It's on the outside, that's okay. So these are quick disconnects. The low side fitting is here. Click it on and close it while you. I don't know what pressure's in here. Must be air pressure because last time I used this gauge set, I vacuumed it down. So there must be refrigerant in the thing. That's where that came from. Okay, so that was a little bit of refrigerant. There's not much refrigerant in here. It's got about 20 psi, which is really nothing. It should be standing still like this. Engine temperature around ambient. Pressure to the gauge is usually right around. Pressure at the gauge is usually right around ambient pressure. Ambient temperature equals ambient pressure. Usually right around there. So we have something in here. So again, I can't just vent this to the atmosphere. Should have trusted my gauge as being. Okay, here's the high side fitting. Kind of a silly place for it, but we did put it here. Close it down. We should have about the same pressure there. So I can't just put this somewhere. That's gotta go back. So I have to get what's in here out. So to do that, I have the reclaimer. Now this could very well be 20 pounds of air. I don't know. Could test it. So here is. Sorry, if it's air, it'll pump out very quickly. So this is my reclaimer. To hook this up, we got two lines, one going in, one going out. This is a universal gas reclaimer, meaning it can be used for multiple gases. And then it can be cleaned out and used for other gases, changing this filter. R12 and 134A and other gases use different fittings. 134A uses half-inch fittings. That's a half-inch adapter, which connects that to that, which will then allow me to hook my gauge set up to this. Probably going to end up charging this thing with my other tank instead of this, because this should sit for a while, equalize temperature and pressure, and then I can vent the air out of it. It's a whole other process. I do have some virgin gas. Maybe it's enough. We'll try to recharge it that way. Okay, so now we're sealed. Make sure all my fittings are tight. It's not my electrical plug. Made sure I had a spare electrical plug ready to go. Go ahead and move this out a little bit. Get this better in the view. Oh, that's a little better, right? It's tough doing things live stream. Switches off. Plug it in. Alright, so the deal here is this is a compressor itself. It's really all it is. And it's going to siphon the liquid or gas. In this case, it's gas because it's an automobile. But it can do liquid because this is used in the refrigeration industry also. So it can do liquid and gas by just moving this halfway. And it's going to siphon it from the gauge set, which is closed right now. It's going to go through the blue and the red line, the center line. Once I open these two gauges, into the machine. This is a filter to filter out any crap that's in here. But what it won't do is it won't remove any sealant that can screw up my machine. Unfortunately, there's not enough in here to test it for sealant. Hopefully it's just air, in which case it's going to pump the air out and put it in my tank. Which is fine because you're supposed to, before you charge with this, you check tank pressures and vent the air out, and then use it that way. And that's how the machines work. And it's going to bring it into, and you'll see it on the gauge, vacuum. So let's go ahead and just get started here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the machine. I'm going to open up the venting port. I'm going to open up the inlet port. Now I'm going to open up my low side. Now I'm going to open up my high side. And now we're going to let it go ahead and run. And you can see there's not much in here. It's probably just air. And I'm going to let it run until it draws a vacuum. Oh, I'm going to open this one. There we go. So that's why I say there wasn't much in there. It had to be probably air because it was all building up in this hose right here. I didn't even open the tank to push it into the tank. There's a high side pressure gauge here, a low side pressure gauge here. So this tells you how much pressure is coming in. This tells you how much pressure is pushing out. There's a high pressure cutoff switch inside of here. So if tank pressure builds up too high and the tank pops, which these tanks are rated for high pressures, this machine will shut off. We're almost at 30, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the low side. I'm going to shut that off, and let's see what the gauge does. If it stays down there, then we're good, we're done. It's staying. It's staying, it was just air. So it all probably leaked out last year, sometime, maybe more than that. Who knows? I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to close the tank first. I'm going to close this next. Close this next. Shut this off. I'm going to close this next. I'm going to close this next. Now I'm going to disconnect this fitting right here. It's fitting back off. Can. Oh, I want to put the cap back on because that's also a dryer. If you leave it open to the air, it will suck the moisture out of the air. All I want is a pair of pliers. Disconnect the line from the tank. It's just air at this point. No refrigerant. Alright, so now what I want to do is open you, turn you back on. That'll draw a vacuum in here and keep my dryer dry. Close, close, and close. And what I can do is I can pull a vacuum on this thing if I want to. Which is what you do when you make a changeover. I'm not going to, because I won't be making a changeover anytime soon. Changeover means a different gas. The only gases you have for automotive is going to be R12 and 134A, unless somebody got cute and decided to go with one of the other exotic gases, like Freeze 12, stuff like that. Set this over here for now, out of the way. Alright, so my next step is going to be to pull a vacuum on this. This is where we're gonna play the weight game. Because to do this, I'm going to pull a 15-minute vacuum on the car. And what that does is hopefully will dry everything in there out. Now, if it is air, chances are the dryer that's in the vehicle is probably no good. So if I ever open the system, I should put a new dryer in it. Now, the dryer is probably built into, as they've been doing for years now, it's probably built into condenser. And sometimes they're serviceable, sometimes they're not. Alright, so we're going to pull a 15-minute vacuum. So it's, we'll call it 11:40. So about 5 minutes to 12. We'll call the vacuum finished. Now, you'll hear the machine is kind of quiet right now. Now you're here, it's actually pumping. And as it pulls a vacuum, it should get quiet. So it's going to be a 15-minute vacuum and then a 15-minute hold. And that's why I'm saying it's going to take time. While this is happening, I can do other stuff. And that's what we're going to do. While this is pulling a vacuum, we're going to keep an eye on the time. We're going to start jacking it up to get ready to do the rear brakes. This is what we're going to do now. So this can sit. Keep an eye on the time. And I'm going to go ahead and reposition the camera over here. I'll leave it like that for now because I'm just jacking up. I did add an extra cord to here so I can bring this camera around longer. Place this. Now we're going to go ahead and jack the car up. In the rear today. I have my jacking plate. Set. Right about there. Pull out the hydraulic jack. A new jack. Just got this jack last week. Memorial Day sale. Even though it wasn't on sale. I had a gift card. The rapid pump jack, so it goes up quick to the rib frame rail, which makes things a little quicker, if you notice. I had the other jack for years, probably about 15 years. It still works. I had a gift card. I was going to Harbor Freight anyways for something. I decided, what the hell? Let's buy a jack. I'm on the pinch weld there. You can see it. Pull it down. Settles. That's done. Okay. Take the metal plate out. New plate. this side. Tidy, behave. The dogs are allowed to play. Don't start barking, Tidy. Titan! Come here! Titan! He's a jerk. My dog. He's not hurting anybody by barking, but it is kind of annoying to the neighbors. There you go, buddy. You done saying hi to the other dogs? This do the same thing. So the pump got quieter, meaning it's done pumping the air out. What air is left in there out. Or leftover refrigerant gases if it was a puff of gas. Who knows? You never know. Okay, now we're on jack stands. Shake it, make sure it doesn't fall off. Okay. Take off the wheels. Back on. Flip socket extension and my 19.5 socket. Pop the wheels off, and I'll move the camera to whichever side I decide I want first. Probably this side. It's one wheel. Yeah, you can compare it to the other one. Turning out to be a nice day now. Yesterday wasn't too bad, except for the threat of rain all day, and then it did rain, and then the sun came back out, and then more rain, and interesting stuff. Alright, so to get this drum off, you have to get this cap out. Do this side first. Go ahead and reposition this camera. See bird's eye view over my shoulder, what I'll be doing. Should work. Peek. Got my walk. It should work. Alright, I gotta get the cap off first. Take a small flat screwdriver, preferably. Small flat screwdriver. This is a cheaper one. So, usually there's a flare you can grab and pop one of these pops off. This seems to be down and inside. Might be tougher to get this one out than usual for me. Oh wow, it's like a focus for the drums. I had to hammer the hair, but that's okay. So I just get my ball peen side. Tap it back down. Go back in, and now I'm just gonna have to take this nut right here off of here. Powder pin. This be a lock nut. We'll do the same thing on this side while I'm playing with it. And I'll just stay on that side. It's been a while since somebody was in here, if at all. Chances there's somebody been in here at least once. Dirt out of there. Put this back around. It's just a dust boot. There's no grease. Right here, if you look, there's no grease. It's not that type of bearing. It's a seal bearing. It's just keep the cap there. Alright, let's see what size it is. Start with my largest. It's bigger than this though. Find my bigger sockets. Try something bigger. Good Lord, the mess I've got going on here. Here is 34 waist. No, way too big. So looks like 36. Yeah, that's way too big. This is 30. Tool gets so old you can't read the size. They were 20. No, 30. I said 30 in there. It's 30. It is a tad big, but I think that'll work. Probably 29 or some American equivalent. I'm gonna feel how tight this is because I never looked at the torque spec. Tight. It's about, judging by the amount of pull, about 100 foot-pounds. I'll have to see if I can find the specs up here. Should have looked it up last night is what I should have done. Probably what I'll end up doing is torque it to 100 and look it up later. Now the drum should come out of here. Come off of here. Now, because it's a drum, sometimes there's a lip. Go on the other side. Pry bar, real pry bar. do it so you guys can see this on camera. On the big camera is. I just correct my little charger. This is a sealed bearing that comes as part of the drum. So if you need a drum, it's going to come with the bearing. Coming. It's coming. 10. Oh yeah, we need shoes. There we go. There we go. Okay. So here's our shoes. And get a little thin here, a little thin here. Now it's not that it needs shoes. It's just, it can use shoes. Alright, so that's one side. Let's go ahead and pop the other drum off and then we'll start changing it on this side. Not a big deal. These aren't that hard. These are type of system that you have an anchor down here, and then you have an actuator here and here. And you step on the brakes. This side does most of the work. This shoe right here is supposed to do most of the work. For some reason, it's back here. Making sense. Inspection hole. And the shoe area where it wears the most. You can see one here. Right here, it should be right here. But you can see a lot of shoe material left here, and not a lot of shoe material left here, which is kind of weird. Yeah, that's fine. Wheel cylinder's fine. Weird. Anyway. Let's go ahead and get the other drum off the rest of the way, then we'll start getting that off. Where are we at on time? Let's check the time. Oh, 55, then 55. Now, this thing's gotten very quiet. What I'm going to do is shut off both of these valves. When it's very quiet, it means it's a perfect vacuum. It means it's not doing a whole lot of work. Now we'll shut this off. I'll leave this hooked up right now. There's a little valve in here that shuts this off from, actually, let's just get into this. So I hear gurgling inside there. There's a little valve in here that shuts this off from the line. So now the vacuum is in here also. So now we're going to let it sit another 15 minutes. So, 10 after. And if it stays at 0, we're good to recharge. We're not going to recharge until after we do some great job, because I'm like that. I know I need to watch it when I recharge. So it makes no difference. I'd rather just keep on the brake job and come back later and do it. But we can check this. We can check this at 10 after and see where we're at. So you see what I'm saying about multitasking? Normal rear brake job, rear front brake job, a vehicle pays a technician, professional technician, 2 hours. An AC recharge usually pays a technician an hour. Now, I did brakes last week on the front of the car. Did exactly what they do now. See, it's coming even. I'm not even prying it. It's coming. What it does is it jerks it off. Tapping it and pulling on it. It just goes that little bit at a time. Now this is a unique type of adjuster in that it doesn't have a star wheel that ratchets. This has a type of adjuster that when you step on it, on the brake, the service brake, the regular hydraulic brake, it automatically separates and adjusts the brakes for you. Ready to time. I'm just going to give it a A little bit of room. Come off now. Getting drums off can sometimes be the hardest part. Sometimes the groove is so big that it will catch the edge of the shoe and not move at all. And just equalize it to the point where it's moving again. And when you have it equalized, you can just walk it off. I'll just keep doing this. Try not to breathe this dust. Not the best to breathe. Once you get the drum off,